Okay, so I'm going to talk about the Nudist Festival that I just came back from last weekend. Um, I would say overall it was a success. Um, so it's this particular group has three events a year, and every year it's growing. I don't have the final numbers as to how many people were there, but I think it was around 400. So it was pretty big, and I had a lot of different fears, and I mean I had valid fears. Like some of those things kind of were valid concerns, but ultimately I feel like I conquered most of the fears that I had, and found like I was able to work with whatever I had. Yeah, I was worried about like facilities being limited, and they kind of were, but I guess I worked around it. I definitely felt very dirty throughout the whole experience. Like um, access to showers and even toilets was kind of limited, and toilet paper. But yeah, I mean, I brought a roll of toilet paper with me, as I do in life all the time anyway. And I don't know, I worked around it. So yeah, some of the concerns I had were that I would be too cold or too hot. I think like there was one night that was super cold for me, and I decided to actually use. I had some electric, so I was able to. I had Christmas lights that were plugged in, and they give off a lot of heat, and I actually just kind of put them on my body. I kind of like cuddled with them with the Christmas lights, and they were warm, and that kind of helped. I also had a lot of blankets and stuff, and I had a robe with me, so I was able to deal with that. And then there was one day that was really hot, and I was feeling kind of faint, so I just got in the car and turned on the AC for a little bit. So that was okay. Um, and I was also worried about the bugs. The bugs were actually not a big problem this time. It was spring, so that's probably better than summer. I only got maybe two or three small bites, and they never really got very like big and inflamed like they sometimes do. So that was a huge good thing. I didn't wear any bug spray or anything like that, so that was nice to not have to wear anything and to not have that be a problem. I was also worried about the food situation. Ahead of time, I had scouted out like a supermarket that I could go to if I wanted to, or even like a food place, like a Chinese food place that I could go to if I needed to, because I have a variety of different like food intolerances. So I was worried that I wouldn't have access to food. There was a restaurant on site, and I wasn't really sure what they would have on the menu. I kind of remember from a few years ago, but it turns out like I didn't eat anything from the restaurant because ultimately I really couldn't eat very much from there. So most of what I ate, I guess really all of what I ate was stuff that I brought, and I made one trip to the supermarket. I drove, and the supermarket was fairly far away. I mean, I don't know, like 25 minutes away, but it was still doable. So I ultimately cooked stuff. I brought like a little electric burner, which actually cooked food very slowly, but it it eventually did it. I went to different workshops there. I did like a hula hooping workshop, and I think I learned like a new trick. I'll have to practice that still. I did like communication and relating games workshop. I did the partner massage workshop. Maybe that was it. And I did another communication workshop too. I saw a lot of my New York friends, which was really nice. Yeah, I think I bonded with my friends, and I made some new friends too. It's interesting, like even just having small moments with certain people that I met for the first time, like because we had this whole like nudist thing in common, it's like an instant bond. So yeah, I felt like I had the whole social experience. Yeah, so and then I wanted to carpool there, but that was day one of my period, and I was feeling like really like I didn't know if I could like I don't know pull it together, and I didn't want to be like complaining and in the car, so I was just like okay, well, so I did not carpool up. I just drove up by myself, and then on the way back, I picked up a a friend that I know from New York, and we drove back. So that was fun. And I was able to like ask him about Burning Man because he's been to Burning Man, so I've been curious about that. Um, so that's yeah, I actually want to go to Burning Man. And I think like this bash was like a step in the right direction for that, because ultimately it's like um, a lot of the fears I was able to work around. I was able to find different um, ways to be resourceful or prevent the issue, or and then some of the fears didn't really even come to fruition. So that was good. Um, so if I want to go to Burning Man, I'm more concerned about the food issue because with the Nudist Festival, I was able to cook for myself and I was able to exit the property and go shopping. Whereas with Burning Man, I won't be able to do that. Um, so um, so yeah, I guess that's probably a bigger concern. And also, I think it's just this idea of like not being able to have an exit strategy. Like with the Nudist Festival, like worst case scenario, I just get out of there. I mean, it would be a 5 hour drive back home, but like it's fairly, you know, there's civilization, there are hospitals, there, you know, I don't feel totally trapped. Like worst comes to worst, I just exit and I just sit in like a supermarket or something, like. Um, Whereas, yeah, Burning Man, I feel like the stakes are higher. It's like I really can't. I mean, I could, I guess, technically leave, but you really can't leave. So if I'm miserable and like suffering in some way, it's like I kind of have to wait it out. But again, that's an if, and it could be awesome. Um, so yeah, I just realized that I need to challenge myself more, and I'm at a point where like the things that I want, like I think when I was younger, the things that I wanted didn't have high stakes. Like it was like easy to fulfill those things. And now as I get older, like the things I want, I do have bigger consequences. Like but it's like I can't ignore them. I have to. It's like they can't be denied in my mind. So I feel like this kind of thing like keeps nagging me until I finally do it. Yeah, and just the thought that like I would have denied myself. Let's say I didn't go to the Nudist Festival because I was too afraid that I couldn't handle it. Like I would have denied myself like the opportunity to do the things I did and to release that sense of fear. Like I'm actually not afraid anymore of like doing camping to that level because I feel like I could handle it, and I think I could even like up level it. I think I could maybe have more people, like have people in my tent and the whole thing, like because yeah, this was the first time I really camped by myself, and I didn't know, like I thought I was gonna like, well, I took naps in the middle of the day, but I was worried that I was gonna be like in a bad mood and like I don't know, so I was like so I just had a tent to myself in a way to like shield people from like whatever was gonna come out of me, but it was fine. So yeah, I think next time I could probably have other people in my tent as well, and maybe go with a group and stuff, and that would be fun. Yeah, because I want to go more in the direction of like communal living and stuff, and I've been very independent for a while, and now I want to go more in the direction of sort of community living and group projects and things like that. So I would say, yeah, the festival was a success, and now I want to use it to inspire me to go to something like Burning Man. I also am going to sign up for a retreat weekend for the authentic relating practices that I've done, and part of me was afraid of going to that too for similar reasons, things being out of my control. But now I feel like that's easy. That should be easy. So I think it'll be an exciting few months of continuing to sort of face my fears. And I feel like after I face my fears, these certain fears, like anything like smaller will seem small, like anything else. Like, so it's like after going to Burning Man, like going to like camp at a nudist festival where you have, electrical hookup and you have, toilets, at least somewhere on the premises, is simple. Like, so that's what I'm hoping. I think I had been denying these things I wanted because like there are layers of fear around it, but there's no denying it. I have to go for it. So that's the plan. All right, bye.